You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's the weekend, and you know what that means? That means that after a long, hard week of work, with the exception of Wednesday, which we dropped the ball on Wednesday, but after a long, hard week of work, you know what we're going to do this weekend? Even more goddamn work. Interspliced within that work, I've got a couple of house jobs I need to do. So right now, I'm putting the towels out to dry. I'm probably going to put another wash on later. Because Laura's gone to university for the day. She has started a second year of the course she's doing. She does it part-time. So she goes every other or every third weekend, depending. Which means I get to spend the weekend with you. I know, right? Get excited. And that means one, long videos, and two, we get to do whatever the heck we want. We know how we're treating ourselves. We're treating ourselves by completely reinstalling Windows on my Surface Book. So that's going to be an absolute hoot. It's got stuck on a version of Windows that that isn't going to be supported soon, and it's missing a load of the features of newer Windows that I like. So I've been trying to update it. I've tried everything, and it's just not updating. It fails at like 93% with an unknown error. So I'm just going to reinstall Windows and go again. I mean, I've had that Surface Book for like nearly 4 years now, so it's getting not bloated, but there's a load of stuff on it I definitely don't need. I mean, it's got a shitload of space on it still. But a good old fresh restart is good. It's good and healthy every now and again. It's just a pain in the ass to reconfigure it exactly how you want. And I know for a fact that the first time I take it out of the house to try and do something, I'm going to realise that I don't have everything I need on it. But that's by the by. Yeah, I got up early this morning, same time as normal really. Woke up and sorted out my to-do list and what I'm aiming to get done for this weekend. Laura got up, got ready, breakfast, all that shit, and now she's just gone out. So we've got the house to ourselves. It's not going to be as productive as a 8.5 hour weekday, because I'm not working. I think Laura won't be working this evening, I don't think. And I've got all these things I need to do during the day, which I don't normally have to do in the week. When's the peg back? But we're going to try and get a lot of stuff done. I'm going to try and finish the application thing I'm running. I'm going to proofread it one more time, finalise it, and get that submitted, potentially tonight or tomorrow morning. Probably tonight though. And then I am going to finish the user story I'm working on for Red Spider. I only officially started it yesterday, but it's only consuming events from a Azure service, so it's not too bad. While I do want to get a lot of work done today, I'm also trying to make sure that I get as much house jobs done as possible, because it's not fair for me to just sit in all day and not do anything. Even though, don't do that, we're both working, obviously. But yeah, it's going to be really warm today as well, so I'm thinking I can get 2 washes done, if that'll all dry relatively quickly. I might water Laura's plants so they don't. It's going to be hassle later. Then I can settle into some stuff this morning. I need to go out at lunchtime for some bread. I'm going to try and get some videos uploaded as well today. I'm going to get lots done. It's going to be productive. So, plants watered. And it takes a bloody long time if you don't have a hose pipe to go around and give them all the right amount of water. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. Yeah, fully restarted. We've just done the latest update as well. It's just rebooting and shit now. Happy days. Also finished my pass-through, my second or third pass-through of my application. That's now all set. I'm happy with that. I'm thinking it's about time to put another wash in. It's nearly lunchtime, but I haven't got enough bread for sandwiches, so I'm gonna have to go out and buy some bread. Yeah, it's been productive, but not workday productive, because it's not just a solid block of stuff. I'm just tinkering with things. But I should definitely be able to submit that application tonight. So the plan is put the wash on, go get some lunch, come back, have lunch, put the washing out, get the washing in, sort out video descriptions, and then get into some programming. Oh, laptop, what are you doing? Working on updates, don't turn off at 27%. Bloody hell. This is just a completely fresh install. I'm not even contemplating installing anything until I'm confident it's caught up with Atlas on Windows versions. But yeah, the bloody thing is just like installing away. Takes a long time, man. I was just walking back, and you know when someone's, if it's like a narrow pavement, and someone is walking the other way, and you just step onto the road a little bit to make sure that there's like enough room. Like there's enough room for you both to pass, but it's a bit awkward, isn't it? If you're just like literally, it's quite a narrow pavement, so it's like you just scoot past, or maybe just drop 1 foot onto the pavement, onto the road to get round. But so I stepped onto the road like a distance away, check behind me, walk onto the road. And as I'm going past this woman who's got headphones in, she just goes, "Thank you!" Clearly, she had no idea how loud she was. It was hilarious, boys. I can appreciate. I didn't used to be the kind of person who wears headphones to walk around, but I do now a little bit because of my walks. Basically, treat it like a car. Cool. For dinner, for lunch, we've got the same sandwiches we have every other day of the week, except I've got a banana because I'm running out of fruit. So I needed to substitute. I bought more apples, and then I substituted today's orange with banana. Check me out, guys. I'm living the fucking dream over here, boys. So I'm going to have some lunch, and then I'm going to do all the washing up, change the washing over, and then get back into some programming. And then tomorrow we should be able to have a straight day running at programming, which would be nice. Where has all of this heat come from? It's supposed to be September. We're supposed to be in the cool periods. I've just put all the washing away and all the washing up and stuff. I keep walking into things today, and it's just fucking... It's cooking outside, man. Which does make working in my office less appealing, because it gets really freaking warm in here. And there is like no breeze as well, so... Whew, my God. Cool. What do I need to do now? Have I done my jobs? Is there any other things I can do? In an ideal world now, I would have Atlas, my laptop, and I would move into a room that's cooler. There aren't actually that many other rooms that are cooler, but I need to open some doors, get some draft going through the house, I think. It's kind of sad that there's no... I mean, well, the one thing I do have that will allow me to work outside would be my laptop, and I just wiped it. But but like, there's nothing I can do particularly outside to like make the most of the sun, apart from go for walks and stuff. Yeah, that's kind of disappointing, you know. Well, I'm super happy, guys. I just had my first ever invoice paid for Varialis. So yeah, I've just updated all my spreadsheets. That's cool. That's like, well, the problem with that is now, previously the only way it was up, now it's possible to go down. That's the problem. I have also no way of turning that into a recurring revenue stream either, so it's just a one-off payment. But I'm happy with that, boys. That's super, super dope. So, don't mean to brag, but I can afford now to run my websites for like 3 months for free now. Whoa, watch out. No, all of my business accounts, I just got 3 times my outgoings, my monthly outgoings. Ballin'. Ballin'. That is, of course, excluding what I'm drawing from my savings to pay myself. But ignore that. I've just realised that that money that I just got in that invoice, I used to make more than that a day at my old job. Shit. So I'm just writing some code for the integration of, once I've successfully published a Docker image to my repository, it will tell my microservices that it's done it. So that's being hosted in a certain type of function I've got. They're Linux functions. I've got some Windows functions as well, which are based on a consumption plan. This one's on an app service plan. I went on there and I couldn't find the function doesn't appear in the functions thing. Because I was hoping to trigger it without having to actually update the image. And I'm like, why can't I get this function to appear in this list so that I can then trigger this new bit? So I want to basically kick it off here so that I can test this bit locally. Couldn't find it. Went on to the other function, which is the Windows function, looked at that and I was like, oh, that's off. That probably doesn't need to be off. Turn that on, because it's on the consumption plan, which costs every time you use it rather than it constantly running. And I just flooded my microservice with a shitload of messages. My microservices are off at the moment, so they've not answered them. But I just flooded, because I have these listeners set up in Visual Studio, Azure DevOps, where it will tell my microservices every time a pull request's been updated. And I had that turned off because I didn't want to flood my microservices with a load of stuff they weren't going to do, just in case I ran it on my laptop and it wasn't configured properly and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, fuck that up. But I find it's really interesting that I have an Azure function which apparently doesn't have anything there. Like, there's no functions running at all because it's in a Docker container. I'm assuming that's why, but I swear it used to appear in that list because I used to be able to run it. Unless now it's successfully deploying, because back then it wasn't deploying properly. Interesting. But yeah, we've got another day today. Laura is at university again today, but she's in for less time. So she comes back at about 2:30 instead of 5 o'clock. So she is going to be back. I am cooking a dinner, but that's it basically, because I'm not doing anything else today except doing work. So I am programming my little socks off. 1 minute. I said that I'd finish this thing today, and yesterday, and I didn't. So I'm going to finish it off today. I'm scheduling some video uploads and all that kind of stuff. Setting my laptop up, getting that all configured. I'm taking the opportunity. It's actually quite a good opportunity to document all the things that I need to install to get a new machine up and running, because if I was to hire new people, it would be good to just send them a wiki and just be like, oh, here's all the things you need to do. Go through this process, set everything up. So it's always the case. I swear, every single time I integrate with something that comes from Azure, like this is an event grid event, but other things that I get from Azure, like Azure DevOps, the message it gives me just comes in a different format. They're different. You handle them both differently. And I'm like, why? Anyway, it's time to start dinner. We didn't, because we're idiots, get the meat out last night, so I'm going to have to defrost some of it in the microwave, which is a pain in the ass. Why are you starting dinner at 12 o'clock, Jamie? Because when we planned our meal plan, the weather wasn't very nice. And we thought, you know what we can have? We can have a stew. So we're going to have a stew today in this lovely hot weather. I love a stew, me. I love a good old stew. You get the slow cooker out, you whack it all in, you turn it on, then like 8 hours later you got yourself a meal. 6 hours actually. And now we wait. I did change the recipe ever so slightly to get more stuff in. In general with recipes, I double all the seasoning. But I think the potatoes I put in, it said 3 potatoes, and I put 2 in, and they were quite big. So I think it was a bit over full. So I had to increase the amount of water, the amount of stock that I put in as well. So fingers crossed that'll turn out all right. It smells lovely. It smells very paprika-y. So there's that. I need to go pick up some bread. That's what I need to do. I'm turning into one of the people who go to the supermarket every day. That's me now. Went yesterday, go today, and I'll go tomorrow too. Laura came back and we had some dinner. The stew was nice. I'm on the hunt for the perfect slow cooker stew. We used to have one that was really nice that was in a casserole dish that you put in the oven. And I want that one again, basically, but for the slow cooker. The thing is, like slow cookers, you need to be like very careful about how much you put in them and stuff to make it work. So I'm not sure I could just literally do that in that, even though they are similar sized containers. Maybe I will next time. Otherwise, basically when Laura got back, I didn't do any work after that point. I did a little bit of cleaning out the alleyways again. But it is at the point now where it just needs to basically just rot away and die. You can basically get right through to the end now. You just need a skip to get rid of that other stuff. It's not going to be fun. And then we watched some Peaky Blinders, Living the Dream, and Dragon's Den and stuff. Good TV night Sunday. I've been set on my laptop as well, documenting all the things I'm doing to get everything installed and all that good stuff. Bit boring, not massively productive. Yeah. What I should do next time, remind me, next time I have a weekend when it's just me, I should do all of the jobs and stuff on the day that Laura's in uni the least. That's how you do it. But otherwise, back to work tomorrow, starting new stuff. Oh, because I finished my application thing yesterday, which I probably told you about. So I'm now on completely new things again. Hey! Yeah, happy days. It's Monday and we need to be more productive today. I'm trying to wrap my head around all the things I need to do over like the next 2 weeks, and trying to fit everything in. It's going to be a busy couple of weeks. I've got a lot of things to do that aren't necessarily work related, so I think I'm going to have to start really like using the evenings and staying up late a little bit to make the most out of having the days. There's a couple of errands I need to run this week. Next week I'm going to lose probably at least 2 days of productive daytime, so I need to build that up. It's going to be a hectic couple of days. I'm like writing down a list of things that I need to do, so that I don't get daunted by it, because it's quite daunting to sit there and go like, I've got so much to do, how am I going to fit any of this in? That's a bad mental state to be in. You need to be more, this is all doable. I've got a manageable list. So I've written it all down, and now I just need to spread it out over the next 2 weeks. Yeah, one of the awkward things is, having just finished the thing that I do on my laptop, like the big thing I've been doing more or less exclusively on my laptop, because it's all Word documents and shit, that's kind of gone now. So in scenarios where I only have a laptop, what can I do? In truth, there's loads I can do. I've got so much to do, it's unreal, but they all seem like small tasks, you know? It's not something you can just get your teeth stuck into for a significant amount of time. So I'm kind of like trying to just wrap my head around everything and get ready. Also, it's threatening to rain, so I'm going on a very tightly constrained loop before we get back to the house. And I know my hair needs cutting, that's on my list of things I need to do. All right. What's throwing me is the fact that the weekend was actually quite productive. It just wasn't in work terms, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of the things I've been doing, like to sit on my laptop and all that kind of stuff, is important and it's working. It's like sitting down, I'm not doing fun stuff instead, you know what I mean? But it's not generating value. It's ever so humid today. So it's not being timed, and therefore it feels unproductive, you know? Even though it's not unproductive, it's not taking a break, you know? So, tea time, and we've just nailed down the latest user story, which is effectively telling the microservices once the, I don't want the oven, I want the kettle. It's effectively just telling the microservices once an image has been deployed to the registry. So I'm going to go through and tidy up the pull requests and get the build sorted. I've got a problem with the build for the microservice, where it takes just a decade to run. It's a pain in the ass. And I think it's the publish stage, because I added the publish stage in because I'm now publishing NuGet packages. I'm not even publishing, like the rest of it's there, but it's not there. I think it's something to do with the fact that it's not zipped. I think it uploads a load of metadata with each file. I remember talking to someone once, and they were like, yeah, so it took like 40 minutes or whatever, just on the upload bit. And the upload bit alone takes 6 minutes, and the rest of it is like less than 2. So you're like, it takes a whole 8 minutes to run, and it's all the upload bit. So I'm going to investigate, seeing if I can make that go quicker by zipping it, and or zipping all the stuff that isn't the bit that I actually care about at the moment. So I'm going to do that. Do the PRs, get it all merged, and then we can move on to the next thing. Although what I'm actually going to do is move on to some admin related stuff until after lunch, which will involve a little bit of planning, but mainly drafting emails and doing contact stuff. I do have a lot of stuff I need to look at. I've always got so much to do. I've got so much to do. I wish it's weird because I've got so much to do, but it doesn't. None of it feels particularly meaty at the moment, you know? None of it feels like sit down, generate a shitload of work. And I don't know why I think that's a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. It means there's lots of small, manageable tasks. But I get not less motivated, but feel like it's harder for me to get my teeth stuck in, you know? Just freaking quartered my build time, ladies and gentlemen. Nailed it. I mean, in fairness, it took me a long time to do that. But I've been setting up my laptop at the same time, so productivity. Doing 2 things at once like a lad. All right, so that took slightly longer than I wanted it to, but I'm there. I've got all my PRs done. I've got the deployment sorted. That was where I was. Ouch! My little finger just clicked. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so I've got the deployments done, the build's done a lot quicker than it used to be. Did all my PRs. I've deployed it to the environments, tested it live in the functions area, realized that I'd done functions wrong because I deployed it to my function app, expecting it just to sit next to my other function. Obviously, it doesn't work like that. This doesn't live next to the previous. So I've got 3 function apps now, one of which is a Linux deploy, which is on an app service. And then I've got 2 Windows ones, which are consumption-based rather than app service-based. And I assumed I could deploy 2 separate projects to it, but you can't. So I have one for internal events that are basically just going to sit and consume events that I'll put onto the event grid effectively. And the other one, which is a service hook, which is hooking out to different services. So it's good stuff. It's now time for lunch. We're lucky today. We had stew yesterday. So we had a baguette, and I've got a baguette here. The problem with having a baguette for lunch is you get crumbs everywhere, so I'm gonna have to eat it in here. I normally watch The Office while I have lunch, but instead I'm gonna eat it in here. I'm gonna get my Bluetooth speaker and I'm gonna listen to my podcast. Plug the Bluetooth speaker, I put it on the home hub. It's fine. I seem to have been able to successfully dodge the rain on both of my walks today. This morning I went for my walk and it rained basically as I got in, and I was just walking down the road and it started to spit on me on this afternoon. Living the dream. Otherwise, I've just finished drafting an email that I'm going to send to some clients. I'm shifting the approach that I'm taking while trying to get in touch with potential clients. Instead of going basically for the hard sell on Code Reviews as a Service, I'm trying to like get a meeting with them to try and get like feedback from, like basically using RadSpider a little bit more, try and get a bit more feedback on RadSpider. Hopefully I can get some requirements, meet some of their needs, what are the problems that they might have with it, that kind of thing. The kind of feedback I've got on RadSpider has been positive, more or less unanimously positive across the board. With one notable exception. It was the senior developer that I first worked with on my placement year. He is the one person who's been like, I think it's a terrible idea. Everyone else has been like, thought it's really good. So I feel like that's going to get me more introductions, hopefully. And it will be beneficial for me to be able to start narrowing down requirements and whatnot in that fashion. And if when I learn more about them, I can manage to sell them Code Reviews as a service or some kind of consultancy service, then we're laughing, you know? So I'm approaching this company that I think will be perfect. I think they'll be perfect. They're very small, which is why I think they'll be perfect. They've got 8 employees at the moment, maybe slightly more, because I think they've just done a little bit of a hiring drive. Maybe they're at about 10 or 11 now. And I'm trying to figure out whether or not to go for the founder, to email one of the founders who've been there for the last year and a bit, or go for the program development manager. I feel like the program development manager will be best. It's between him and the founders, obviously. Normally I'd go for the program development manager, but there's such a small company that I feel like the CEO/founder might be better. I don't know. I'm going to think about it and I'll send an email tomorrow. So we had quite a productive day today. It's been really good. Done lots of admin stuff, done lots of programming stuff. I'm falling behind, I'm noticing on my blog. I need to do some of that. And I need to figure out what I'm going to do programming wise after, because I've just finished something now. But I've come downstairs, I'm still setting up my computer. So I think I've got basically everything. I just need to do, I was like, I'll come downstairs, do some blogs. Shit's on Google Drive. So I've got to go into Google Drive and then re-download everything and sync it all onto the hard drive. Pain in the ass. It's all like markdown files and stuff. But while I'm waiting for this, I think I might do planning for the next bit of programming I'm going to do rather than this blog. I'm already on 8.5 hours of work today, so I'm doing good. That's timed. I always try and emphasize that that's timed work as well. So Like, because 8.5 hours is basically a full day, right? For normal stuff. But I'm not counting lunch. I'm not counting commutes or any of that shit. So it's like proper productive work. I'm not even counting my tea breaks. And by my tea breaks, I mean making my tea. I do count going to the toilet. That is fair. So it's very... I'm really proud of hitting like 8.5 hours. And I think after a bit of planning and maybe some blog writing later tonight when we get home from shopping, we should be able to get lots of stuff done. Yeah, we should be able to easily cross 9 hours. I don't think we'll hit 10. Unless Laura's planning on doing uni work tonight, but I don't think she is, so. Whew. Right, I need to do the meal plan and I need to cook tonight's dinner. I should also, I'm trying to train myself not to bring these glasses downstairs. I'm trying to leave these as like my desk glasses and then have my other glasses for the rest of the house. I don't mind throwing these around as much, so I just like chuck them on the table, whatever, when I don't need them, you know. And ladies and gentlemen, that draws us to an end. I'm struggling to figure out the architecture for the next little bit I'm going to do. It gets quite complicated, and I think I need a microservice to do something for me. And I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should lump something else into that service. And I feel like I shouldn't. But I feel like I'm spawning microservices quite rapidly. And this is something that could in theory be done in serverless. But yeah, as soon as, no, it can't be. It's doing too much. It's doing a lot of orchestration is the problem. It is effectively a service that does orchestration. It like orchestrates a load of workers. How I'm going to kick off them workers, I don't know yet either. So it's fun times. Otherwise, they all went shopping. Got back. And that's it, standard day. Right, thanks for watching today. We got so much done. We have, well, yeah, another 4 days this week. Like I say, we've got a lot to do this week, so stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Come on back. We've got more crazy stuff going on tomorrow as well.